We all know what it's like to be leisurely making your way through a game, having a good time, before suddenly encountering something so difficult that you just get stuck for days. Something so aggravatingly impossible that it's a miracle your controllers have weathered your rage for this long. What's even worse than this though is the false confidence you sometimes get before these battles. As they say, it's the hope that kills you, and sometimes you walk up to a boss, give them one look and just say, "Aye, I could have him easy." Endless stun locking, regenerating health, and hours of grinding later though makes one thing very clear. You absolutely could not have him, you arrogant fool. I'm Josh from WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 impossible video game bosses you totally underestimated. Number 10. Fire Dragon Chrono Cross. One of 6 elemental dragons encountered during Chrono Cross, the Fire Dragon is, unlike his siblings, just a little guy. He stands a little bit shorter than average human height, and I mean, just look at him. Doesn't he just have the cutest little dragon baby face ever? The first time you fight this wee fella, he's no pushover, but he's far from the worst as well. He'll attack you with fire, as dragons are wont to do, and you will attack him back with water and ice. It's a challenging enough encounter, but nothing you wouldn't be prepared for. So the next time you fight him, you're probably expecting a more difficult version of that same battle. And for a few rounds, that's exactly what you get. Cue then his transformation into something that can be best described as the love child of a dragon and a gun down. And just to drive the point home, he's covered in huge spikes. This fiery colossus has a standard fire breath attack that hits the whole party, and an even more powerful inferno attack that easily has the potential to one-shot your entire troop, depending on your level and equipment. Put simply, he's an absolute dick. Number 9. DEMYX Kingdom Hearts 2. When this poser isn't lazily lounging around talking a big game despite not actually doing anything, he's running away from a fight. The only thing that DEMYX dislikes more than working is fighting. He dumps his missions on lower ranking members or cronies of Organization 13 and avoids putting physical effort into anything as he finds sweat gross. Other members of the organization describe him as a useless coward, and to be fair, I can relate to him a lot in this form. Anyway, when he's finally put in a position where he has to fight Sora and friends, you're half expecting a joke battle. What you get instead is a struggle against those most annoying of tropes, stun locks, and time limits. When the fight starts, this little rascal uses his sitar to summon 50 minions, whom you have to defeat in 40 seconds or less. When he engages you for real, all of his attacks either stagger or launch you into the air. Once you're finally making progress against him, he will summon 10 more minions that you must defeat in 15 seconds this time or less. And if that weren't enough, once low on health, he will exclusively spam the same area of effect attack that launches you into the air. I suppose for a lazy coward it makes sense that he's also as cheap as possible. Number 8. GRILGAN Lost Odyssey. There's nothing about GRILGAN's appearance that may lead you to underestimate it. It looks like a proper fantasy monster, fangs, claws, wings, etc, etc. However, its placement in the game is what will turn your confidence into your undoing. GRILGAN is the first boss you encounter in Lost Odyssey. By this point, you're probably around level 10, and so far have gone through some tutorial fights, explored the city where the story kicks off, and fought some random battles in this early area of the game. So when GRILGAN flies down, it's easy to assume this will just be a slightly tougher fight meant to test you on what you've learned so far. I mean, why wouldn't you? That's just how video games work. Well, most video games work this way. It's not that GRILGAN is cheap or cheating, he's just downright the hardest first boss in the history of video games. His standard attack will take a good half of your health off you, his magic attack will most likely kill any wounded character, he can poison you, and his strongest attack will hit your whole party and likely kill a character or two even at full health. Oh, and to top it off, the next boss is probably the hardest second boss in the history of video games as well. Yeah, cheers, nice one, son's crying. Number 7. The first DEATHCLAW, Fallout 4. The DEATHCLAW is the apex predator of the Fallout universe. Every Fallout player knows that if you see one of these things, you think long and hard before engaging it. So why is it on this list then? Well, like GRILGAN, the first DEATHCLAW you face is the first boss-like thing you meet in Fallout 4, and so you figure they wouldn't throw what is normally an endgame enemy at you at level 4 or 5, and this confidence is doubled because right before the fight, the game literally just hands you a full set of power armor and a minigun. You're a walking tank wading into maybe your 5th or 6th enemy encounter. And surely this is a much weaker DEATHCLAW, or maybe some kind of scripted event that pulls you out of the fire? Well, no. Once he makes short work of some raiders, he'll turn his attention to you. Your minigun is practically like a really fast pea shooter, and he can run circles around your lumbering power armor, so you'll waste most of your ammo missing. Number 6. The Stranger, God of War. Anyone familiar with Norse mythology would expect Baldur to be a tough fight. After all, the only thing that can kill or even harm the guy is mistletoe. Even an enchanted axe like Kratos wields would have little to no effect on him. But when you first meet him in God of War, he's just a nameless stranger who makes the mistake of pissing Kratos off, who, lest we forget, is also a god and made of muscles and murder. I mean, just moments ago you literally drove a giant troll's tusk through its own skull, so who does this scrawny guy with tattoos think he is? It comes as a surprise then when he delivers an uppercut to Kratos that literally sends him flying over his house. What happens next is a drawn-out battle against someone who, according to his raving battle cries, can't die. You'll chop him, punch him, ram trees into him, and throw very large rocks at him, and more in vain. For a while you think, oh, alright, I see what they're doing here, this is one of those fights that you're supposed to lose for the story to go forward, but then you realise, no, never mind, this is for real. Number 5. Kariyama, Final Fantasy VII. The party encounters this cargo-carrying robot, essentially a slow-moving walking crane, while pursuing Agent Reno through the undersea Mako reactor. It's one of those random JRPG bosses that just kinda comes out of nowhere and is completely inconsequential to the plot. But underestimating this glorified power tool is what will set you up for the tantrum of a lifetime. First, his main attack is a powerful laser that hits the whole party for significant damage. On top of that, it can use its two arms to grab and immobilize two characters at once. Those two characters take gradual damage over time and can only be freed by destroying the arm carrying them. It's hard to focus on those arms though, when your sole remaining character is constantly having to heal themselves. So there you sit watching your friends be slowly crushed to death while you maybe get a hit in every other turn. With the right strategy though, Kariyama isn't very difficult at all. All it requires is liberal use of M Barrier and Magic Breath. However, both of those are learned enemy skills, which you very well might not have acquired unless you've been very thorough. Number 4. Psycho Mantis, Metal Gear Solid. It's now easy to see Psycho Mantis as kind of a pushover. His one main weakness, that being switching the controller to the second player port, is practically common knowledge, even among people who never played the original Metal Gear Solid. But if you take yourself back to 1998, there was no way you could have known this strategy. You either had to hear about it from a strategy guide, or another kid at school who had the strategy guide, and let's face it, they weren't always the most reliable of sources. Sure, the game built him up as the world's best sidekick, but when you're also up against the world's best sniper, a giant guy with a minigun and a robot ninja, this pale, skinny dude with a leather fetish doesn't exactly inspire fear. I mean, what's he gonna do? Read your mind to death? Well, as it turns out, kinda, yeah, that's exactly what he is going to do, and he's going to be bloody good at it. Also right, I want to clear something up. He's hard even when you know what to do. Swapping controllers isn't an instant win, you still have to beat him, and that's a task in itself. Number 3. LUCA BLIGHT, SUIKODEN 2. LUCA BLIGHT is the sadistic main antagonist for the first half of SUIKODEN 2. He performs a false flag massacre of his own army's youth brigade, setting the events of the game in motion. He's big, he's mean, and he's pretty brilliant. So why would anyone underestimate this tower of muscle and insanity? Because even after all of your preparation, knowing you're about to fight a villain built up that much, you still won't be ready. The fight against LUCA begins with a war battle only made winnable by scripted events. But don't get comfortable there. Next, you'll have to form 3 whole parties for the upcoming 3-round fight. At this point, you likely don't have 18 fully leveled and equipped characters, so you're already underprepared. LUCA's basic attack hits one target 3 times, his other 2 attacks deal major damage to an entire row or column of your team, and he acts twice per turn, and just to really tick you off, comes with a full party of generic battle ads to distract you while you're fighting. After the 3rd battle, there's one last one-on-one duel, where one wrong move could get you killed before you finally take him down for good. Oh, and if you get a game over, well, you'll have to do the whole thing again. Number 2, The Butcher, Diablo. Fresh meat. That was the last thing many Diablo players heard before their first death. And the second, and the third, and the... well, you get the idea. The target of the first quest, the player is tasked with finding and killing the cleaver-wielding demon, found on just the 2nd floor of the massive dungeon that comprises the entirety of the first Diablo. In this case, you can be forgiven for underestimating the Butcher, as the game drastically undersells him. It takes me a minute to arrive at this point in the game, and for crying out loud, it's a bloody level 2 quest. When you do find find him up in a tiny little room full of blood and human body parts, you'll quickly realise that it's not really a level 2 quest though. Upon opening the door, he'll utter his famous catchphrase and beeline straight for you, likely killing you instantly. Not only is the Butcher super strong, he's also super fast, making it impossible to whack him with arrows or magic. There is no running from the Butcher. There is only grinding until you can face him mano a mano. Or you could, I guess, exploit some strange design flaws. Because it turns out that the Butcher's only weakness is, well, he can't open doors. I mean, hey, nobody's perfect. Number 1. Lady Comstock, BIOSHOCK Infinite. Throughout BIOSHOCK Infinite, you're learning of Lady Comstock through the audio logs. She's treated as no less than a religious martyr in the floating city of Columbia, deified for her kindness and compassion. It came as a surprise then to encounter her ghost as a boss fight. It came as an even bigger surprise that she's the most aggravating boss perhaps ever printed to disc. Lady Comstock can turn invisible, often using this to pop up behind you, just like a ghost. She also has an ear-piercing banshee wail that deals significant damage and leaves you disoriented. On top of that, she has an army of minions that she resurrects as fast as you kill them. She heals over time as well and can increase her own maximum health. Developer Irrational Games took every controller-breaking video game boss trope and then crammed them all into one single boss, who, may I add, you have to fight 3 times in a row. I mean, why? Were they trying to hurt us? Is it some kind of metaphor that the series is known for? Like, I don't know, throwing your console out the window represents the players. I don't know, man, like latent seething rage that was always waiting to explode. I'm grasping at straws. I'm going to go with that because I need something, anything to ease the pain. So I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Did you have as much trouble with these guys that I did? And are there any that you think deserve a spot on this list? Either way, while you're down there, could you give us a like, share, subscribe, and head over to WhatCulture.com for more lists and news like this every single day. Even if you don't though, I've been Josh. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.